Okay, Glenn, thanks for getting this in. It looks like you had a lot of fun with this assignment. Shooting your father, taking photographs of your father, portraiture. And you were trying to capture his character. So, not knowing him, I get a sense of character from this image. And a lot of it is because of the light that you've gotten back into his eyes here and the expression on his face. And I think that the negative space here is working really well because I can't see what's going on. It's too dark, but it's disheveled. So I get this sense of like a busy, disheveled man. And I don't mean that disheveled in a derogatory sense. I mean it in sort of that creative, always doing something, no time to, no time to organize right now. Thank you, I'm busy with more important things kind of way. And then this one, he looks really comfortable. Personally, as a viewer, I find all this stuff in the background distracting. I think if he was pulled away from that, so, you could utilize depth of field and get him more sharply in focus, and this more out of focus, this would probably work really well. But as he's pressed right up against it and all of it is crisply in focus, it's really distracting for me. I think this is an exceptional image in regard to capturing somebody's character. This high ratio that you've got here, it's about an 8:1, here, is just fantastic. And then you have this beautiful cast shadow giving us a nice gradient on this wall and lots of leading lines, like all of them bringing us in to look at him. And then the lighting on his face is just remarkable. I love the psychological effect of me being underneath him and looking up at him. I definitely get the sense of patriarchal. I get a kind feeling from him. I get a busy feeling because all of this stuff is his. This is what he does. He's a busy, busy guy. I think this is really a fantastic image. I'm probably, the only thing that would bother me is like compositionally that, and I don't know who said it, it looks like it was probably, well, it was either Brandy or Kimberly, I'm not sure which one, but you could have probably cropped it like this, but you obviously wanted to keep this really nice shadow right there, so that's fine. Then I wanted to point out some other images in your contact sheet that I thought would be really fantastic. I think this is a really interesting image. Again, we've got the problem probably of too much stuff in the background, but the backlight here, the rim light that you've got going on is really interesting. I think that's rim light. I'm assuming that's what that is. And then this one right here too. The rim light that you have on him right here is really beautiful, and I think a lot of us might like to see that one enlarged as well. I mean, you just got some really lovely shots. So hopefully you can see that I'm calling out that one, and I'm also calling out this one. I think those are really, really interesting shots. Oh, that's stairway. I thought it was a ceiling. And let's see. I mean, nothing on here that really, really jumps out at me. I mean, I think the images that you chose are pretty good. I might have switched out one of them for this one, or this one definitely, and maybe this one depending. I'd have to see a larger view of it, but I get the feeling that this stuff is actually pretty interesting in the way he's standing there looking. I just kind of like the psychological effect that we get with him looking down at us. I think that's really interesting. And thank you for your lighting setups here. So yes, good, 2 lights, very dark space. So that works out really well. I love that rug. Good job. Yeah, these look great. I think you did a really good job with this assignment. I think you tried a lot of things, and that's key. And like really my only advice would be to play more with your depth of field, because that can help clean up your image a lot and separate your subject from the background. Though this one looks like it might have some camera shake on it. I'm not really sure. Let me see if I can find the settings. Where was he in this one? He's over here someplace. So 1/8 of a second. Yeah, so you probably have either subject movement or camera shake here, because he's a little bit out of focus. So that, so if you try to print a real big one of this, you'd be disappointed with the results. I'm thinking it's more camera shake, because I'm kind of seeing it everywhere, just a lack of crispness. So, you always have to watch that, make sure that your tripod's on sturdy ground, or use a remote fire, and at 1/8 of a second, you'll capture, of course, the movement of your subject. Even if it's just breathing, you'll capture that, so that'll be strange. It looks like his hands are moving a little bit too. But anyways, I get back to my original point, which was I think that you would service yourself to, in these situations, really mess around with your depth of field. If you have any, I don't know if I said this in the class before, but what I really like for shooting people, especially so that I can isolate them from their generally cluttered backgrounds, is I really like, I have one fixed 50mm length lens. It's not a digital lens that I put on my digital camera, and I love it because it's got a 1.8 aperture setting on it. Now it acts a little bit like a telephoto lens on my camera because I have such a small sensor. But it's such a great lens for shooting people, and you know, most digital cameras will accept non-digital lenses. You just kind of have to program them in. So if you have anything like that, or you would like to add that to your arsenal, I strongly recommend it, because a lot of times the digital lenses that we get as a, you know, with our camera when we purchase it as a kit, really doesn't have a whole lot of flexibility in regard to depth of field, or even the glass on it's not as nice. So I really like, whenever I can find, because I shoot Nikon, so whenever I can find like an old Nikkor or Minolta fixed focal length lens, or a fixed millimeter lens, even if it's non-digital, I pick them up because I can put them on my camera, and then I have a lot more imaging options. I have a lot more creativity with those extra lenses. Anyways, nice job. It looks like you and your dad had a great time together. Really good work here. Thank you.